Greetings my friends and welcome to today's tutorial. I'm really excited for today's tutorial. It's a new project for me and I'm so happy and I'm eager to show you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for taking your time to look at my work. I don't take it for granted. Please make sure you turn on the notification bell so that you're able to know when I upload my videos. Also, if you're new and you're to subscribe to my channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. Feel free to check through my channel for other knit and crochet patterns, and I'm sure you'll benefit from them. So for today's pattern, you are required to have 2 colors. And for this blue yarn, this is the yarn that I'm using from the Robin company, the chunky type. And this company is based in Kenya. And for this other yarn, I'm using butterfly, chunky as well, but it's a medium. It's not that thick. It's just slightly above medium size. And this is the number of the yarn. Still from Kenya, Nairobi, here in East Africa. So for this project, the thicker you make it, the thicker the yarn, the bigger the pattern. The slimmer the yarn, the slimmer the pattern is going to be. And for today, I am going to show you how to crochet a paw print, especially if you're an animal lover like me. I love dogs and cats. You really enjoy this pattern and today's tutorial. So welcome. So for my crochet, I am using 4.5 millimeter crochet size hook, and welcome. So for starters, to create this super cute paw print pattern, we are going to make a magic circle or a magic ring like so. And we are going to chain 3. So first we need to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to add 11 double crochets. This one counts as a double crochet. So we need to add 11 more double crochets into our magic ring. And this is how we are going to add our double crochets. 3. And now I am going to add the number of double crochets that are required so that I have in total 12 double crochets. And remember, the chain 3 also counts as a double crochet. So continue working round until you have 12 double crochets. So now I have completed 12 double crochets all round, and I'm going to pull this piece of yarn so that I am able to close off the 2 parts. And I'm going to join the 2 parts using a slip stitch, and I'm going to insert my crochet into the 3rd chain, the 1st double crochet, use it to join the 2 parts using a slip stitch, and then we are going to chain 3 again, 1, 2, and 3. So for round 2, we are going to increase our circle, and we are going to make 2 double crochets in each chain space. In total, we are going to have 24 double crochets all round. So what we are required to do is make 2 double crochets in each chain space all round until you get to the beginning. Continue with this pattern. So I'll pause the video and continue all round, increasing the circle. So we have come to the end of round 2, and for round 3 we are going to join these 2 parts, and we are going to insert our crochet into the 3rd chain of the 1st double crochet we made, and we are going to make a slip stitch. Next we are going to chain 3 again, and we are going to increase round 3. And how we are going to increase round 3 is that we are going to have 2 double crochets in one chain space, and then we are going to only have 1 double crochet in another chain space, followed by 2 double crochets in the next chain space. That is how we are going to alternate our double crochets. So I have added another double crochet after I chained 3 because this chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So next will be 1 double crochet in the next chain space, and then 2 double crochets in the next chain space, followed by 1 double crochet in the next chain space. Next, we have 2 double crochets in the chain space. Continue with this pattern all round until you come to the first chain 3 here. So now we have come to the end of round 3, and for round 3 we are required to have 36 double crochets. For round 2 we are supposed to have 24 double crochets, and round 1 12 double crochets. So now we are going to join these 2 parts, and we are going to use a slip stitch, and we are going to insert our crochet into the 3rd chain and form our slip stitch like so. Next, we are going into round 4, and in round 4 we are going to start forming the fingerprints. Remember, I said earlier at the beginning of the tutorial we are crocheting a paw, an animal paw. So now we are going to work on the fingerprints, and we are going to skip the next chain, and we are going to start working into the next chain, and we are going to start with 1 double crochet. Next, we have 5 treble crochets in the same chain space. So for those who are new and you're wondering how to make a treble crochet, yarn over again, and then insert your crochet and take out the chains in 2s. So we are going to make 4 more of the treble crochets. And for the fingerprints, we are going to make 4 fingerprints. So now I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 treble crochets. Now we are going to do 1 double crochet in the last part. So at the beginning we had 1 double crochet, and then 5 treble crochets, and then 1 double crochet at the end. So we are going to skip 1 stitch and single crochet in the next. Then we are going to skip 1 chain again, and then we are going to repeat this pattern here. Okay, we are going to repeat the same pattern after we have skipped 1 chain. We are going to repeat this pattern after we had the 7 chains. So we are going to repeat this pattern after skipping 1 chain, repeat the pattern, the 7 stitch pattern. I'm talking about this pattern here because now we are working on the 2nd paw. So I've made my first treble crochet, I'm on to my 2nd, and I need to make 3 more because we are required to have 5 treble crochets. 3. Now I'm into the 4th one. So make the 5th double crochet followed by a double crochet in the same chain. So once we have completed the 2nd fingerprint, remember the pattern for the fingerprints is the same. So we are going to skip 1 chain, single crochet in the next, skip 1 chain, and then repeat the fingerprint pattern. Repeat 2 more times so that we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then once we are done, I'll guide you on the next step. So once we are done with the pattern, skip 1 chain and single crochet in the next. Now we are going to work from this point of the pattern to this part. We're going to work onto this round part, and how we are going to work onto that part is that we are going to make 3 single crochets in each chain, and then we are going to increase, meaning we are going to have 2 single crochets in 1 chain. So we are going to single crochet 1, 2, and 3. Then next we are going to have 2 single crochets in the same chain space, and then we're going to start all over again, 3 single crochets, and then we increase 3 single crochets and increase all round until we get to this part. So once we are completed with working onto this part of the paw. We are now going to start working on the fingerprint, and I'm going to show you the pattern for working onto the fingerprint, and we are going to be working into this part of the fingerprint. We are going to use both the front loop and the back loop of the fingerprint. So for starters, make one single crochet in the first part of in the first double crochet of the fingerprint. Next, we are going to have 2 double crochets in the first treble crochet of the fingerprint. In the next chain, we are going to have 1 half double crochet. In the next chain, we are going to have 2 half double crochets. After the 2 half double crochets, we are going to have 1 half double crochet. So next, after the 2 half double crochets, you want to have 1 half double crochets, followed by 2 single crochets, followed by 1 single crochet. Next, we are going to have a slip stitch in this single crochet that is joining the 2 parts. We are going to have a slip stitch there. Make our slip stitch, and then next we are going to repeat the pattern that we just made in the first fingerprint in the next fingerprint. So once we have made the slip stitch, we are going to start off working here, and we are going to have our first single crochet. Remember, we are using the same pattern that we have used here, followed by 2 single crochets in the next chain space, 2 single crochets, and then we have 1 half double crochet in the next chain space, followed by 2 half double crochets, followed by 1 half double crochet, and then we have 2 single crochets, and then we have the last single crochet. Next, join these 2 parts. Now you are going to join these 2 parts using a slip stitch. That is where we are at. So we are required to repeat this pattern over here and in the 4th fingerprint. So use the same pattern that we have used here to complete these 2 other fingerprints. Once we are done with working on the fingerprints, now we are going to work on this part, and we are going to make 5 single crochets in each chain space, and then we are going to increase, and then we're going to make 5 single crochets again, increase. Remember, I told you increasing means you make 2 single crochets in that chain space, and then followed by 5 single crochets again. This is what I mean. I'm going to make 5 single crochets here, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then to increase we are going to make 2 single crochets in 1 chain space, and then we are going to make 5 single crochets again, increase, 5 single crochets again, increase, until you get to this part of the paw. Once we have completed, we are done with the single crochets, we are going to cut off the yarn and make a slip knot, and then tuck in the piece of yarn. So next, I want to show you how to make the pads. I'm going to show you how to make the larger pad, and for this, so I'm going to show you how to make these pads here. So to make the pads, the finger pads or the paw pads, I am going to use a different color, and I'm going to start off with a magic ring or a magic circle, and I'm going to work 15 double crochets into the magic circle. So I'll start by chaining 3, 1, 2, and 3, and this chain 3 counts as a double crochet, so I'm going to work 14 double crochets into the rest of the circle. Continue working the rest of the double crochets until you reach to the first point we started. So once we are done with the 15 double crochets, we are going to join these two parts, and we are going to join by inserting a crochet into the third chain of the first double crochet and make a slip stitch. Then next we are going to make a treble crochet, and we are going to treble crochet in the next chain. Make one single, just one treble crochet, that's what I mean. And then next we are going to make 2 treble crochets in the next. Point of correction, sorry, we are going to undo the treble crochet we just made, and we are going to crochet into this part. Once you are done with these two parts, make the slip stitch, and then we are going to treble crochet into the next chain, and then we are going to make 2 treble crochets in the same chain space. Then we are going to make 1 treble crochet in its own chain space. Next, we are going to make 1 double crochet in the next chain. Next, we are going to have 2 double crochets in the next chain space. After we have made the 2 double crochets, we are going to have 1 double crochet. And then once we are done with the double crochet, we are going to make 3 treble crochets in the next chain. So we are now working the 3 treble crochets in the same chain space. One, two, three. Then we are going to have 1 double crochet in the next chain space, and then we are going to have 2 double crochets in the same chain space. So after we have made 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet in its own chain space, and then we are going to have 1 treble crochet, and then we are followed by 2 treble crochets, in the same chain space, and then we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we are going to slip stitch in the next or the first chain that we formed. So I have to undo this because I forgot to make 1 treble crochet here. So after you have made the 2 treble crochets, my apologies, we are going to make 1 treble crochet just before we have the chain 3. Now we are going to have the chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we are going to slip stitch into our first stitch that we made. Okay, so now we have formed the PAW. You see, this is how it looks like. You want to make yours a bit loose. Mine was a bit tight, but that is the pattern. Okay, so now we are going to cut off this piece of yarn. My viewers, please, you have to allow me to redo this part of the larger paw because at the beginning, I missed 3 chains. So allow me to redo this for the sake of clarity, please, I beg. So, once we have made the 15 chains, you want to close off the gap, and then we are going to join these 2 parts with a slip stitch and chain 3. That is the only part I missed. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then I'm going to repeat how to go around the magic ring again. So once we have chained 3, we are going to treble crochet in the next chain, and then next we are going to have 2 treble crochets, in the same chain space, and then we are going to have 1 treble crochet in the next chain, followed by 1 double crochet, followed by 2 double crochets, so once we have made the 2 double crochets, we're gonna make 1 double crochet in the next chain space. After the 1 double crochet, we are going to make 3 treble crochets in the same chain space. So we have made the 3 treble crochets in the same chain space. Next, we are going to have 1 double crochet, and then the next chain space we are going to have 2 double crochets together. Next, we are going to have 1 double crochet followed by 1 treble crochet, and then we are going to have 2 treble crochets in the same chain space. And then we are going to have 1 treble crochet in its own chain space. So once we are done with the treble crochet, we are now going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we are going to slip stitch in the next chain. Slip stitch, and then now we can cut off our yarn. You want to secure your work, make that knot and cut off the yarn. Cut off the yarn. Sorry, don't cut off the yarn because you need it to attach it onto the PAW. So don't cut off your yarn. So to make the small PAW or the small fingerprint, we are going to make a magic circle. Once you make your magic circle, we are going to make 3 single crochets. That one counts as the first one. So add 2 single crochets there, so that you want to have 3 single crochets, and then 3 double crochets, then we have the 3rd double crochet, and then we are going to add 3 more single crochets into our magic ring. 1 and 2, and then 3. Then you pull this shorter piece of yarn so that you're able to combine the 2 parts. Combine the 2 parts and the slip stitch through a slip stitch rather. And cut off the yarn. Leave a slightly longer piece because you need it to attach it to the PAW. So for this other one, I can cut it off and tuck it in later. So we are required to make 4 of these smaller pads. So make 3 more using the same pattern. So once you are done with the pads, you will attach them as I am showing you here. You sew them in. So like for me, for this one, I sewed them in using the normal needle, the sewing needle. But if you have the other type of the needle, it works well. So I was able to attach all round, so that it doesn't fall off. So that is how it looks like. Without the pads, it also works. It depends on how you want it. But I prefer when it has the pads, you know. So thank you so much for tuning in to check out my work. I don't take it for granted. Happy crocheting. Remember, if you feel free, if you want to contact me, I've included my details in the description below. Thank you so much. Happy crocheting.